viral song ruined Gotye's life after just watching the music video. Let's go.
The song might have been clicked on over 2 billion times, but how somebody that I used to know impacted Gotye's life is much less widely known.
I felt quite depressed a lot of times, and so that sort of started to really seep out into how the whole of my life was feeling.
We'll give a highly detailed description of how unexpected fame affected him, what role it played in his choice to quit music, and why Gotye's humble nature makes his fate extremely saddening. He simply didn't know the song would get so popular, which isn't surprising since his previous songs were even rejected by local radio.
People wouldn't consider playing records on commercial radio stations.
Gotye therefore began uploading his music to YouTube, where he'd gained 250,000 views on his 3 most popular songs, and while this was still insufficient to make an impact globally,
I was disappointed when my last album, I couldn't find, say, a label to release it.
There was one single song that was about to change everything. Gotye had spent 6 months writing the world's most relatable breakup song, which he almost scrapped before its release, as he couldn't find the right female singer.
It wasn't sounding amazing, and that was the final straw. I thought I had to let the song go. I thought, wow, I've been sort of waiting for 4 months. It's just not coming together.
Thankfully, Gotye knew the song had potential.
I thought it was a strong song. It had an emotional sort of intensity to it.
Eventually using Kimbra, who was perfect for its music video,
was
which
fire,
was
by the
then
way.
leaked to the public, giving Gotye an unexpected advantage.
The video leaked in Australia a week before it was meant to be released, and very quickly started, getting a lot of YouTube views.
As mentioned, the song racked up over 73,000 views before the week had even finished, aided by viewers who simply couldn't stop hitting replay. Yet again, I've listened to it non-stop all day, like I've done for the last 5 days. I've watched this video over 200 times in the past day, no joke. Honestly think I'm responsible for half of the views for this. Brilliant song, brilliant clip, confirming the music video had an influence on the song's instant explosion.
Most people say, they think the video clip really enhances the delivery of a song, so a lot of people really have, responded to the video and wanted to share it with other people. It seems to have shareability.
Gotye stated when it hit the first million mark, I was kind of like, okay, something's happening here. Although it seemed he was most satisfied to have finally been played on the radio.
It's the first real hit single I've had in terms of commercial airplay in Australia.
However, the radio stations quickly became insignificant as the song received publicity from a range of famous celebrities. Ashton Kutcher wrote, "This is kind of fantastic, reminds me of early music vids." Lily Allen simply stated, "Love this video." While Katy Perry tweeted, "New music discovery for me. Check out Gotye, specifically this song. The lyrics are so true, with Gotye's rapidly developing audience amplifying the same message. I find it absolutely great this song is getting so much recognition. It's gotten more than 7 million views in just 3 months. It went on to break Milestone.
The video alone has more than 65 million hits now on YouTube.
After Milestone,
its unique video has had almost 300 million hits on YouTube.
After Milestone,
it's got like 860 million views on YouTube or something like that.
Dog, it's at like 2.2 billion right now. 2.2 billion.
Making the song bigger than almost any other ever.
The 3rd most liked video of all time on YouTube with 1.4 million likes.
Although despite making a song that was somehow this famous,
I've read people on Twitter saying they're setting it as their alarm tone.
Gotye made a point to remain extremely humble. 9 months after the song came out, Gotye explained he still drove an old van.
Just last week, your van was stolen. 10 million single sales. What the hell are you doing driving a van?
And when asked about what he'd spent his fortune on, he had no interest in luxury.
What is the last huge thing you bought?
I haven't bought anything physically big. I really hoped it would be a new van.
In a different interview, Gotye was questioned,
"What is the best thing that happened last year?"
To which he'd respond,
"It probably wouldn't be something to do with a marker of the success of my song or my album. More something like a really great swim I took at Summers Beach near where I live."
Which might also explain why he refused ads on his music video, stating, "I'm not interested in selling my music. That's the reason I don't put ads on my YouTube channel," which seems strange to people in today's climate, but that is a decision you can make. I'm like that with all my music. I generally never want to cinch my music for products on ads, meaning Gotye willingly forfeited over $10 million.
Like, I get being an artist and wanting your art to be its art, but like,
He'd add that he freely licensed his music to students making films and would even spend his time mentoring people learning music, which was supported by a Reddit post.
He could have done that and still made hella money.
Link of one of my tracks for the hell of it when I was a bit drunk. He actually responded and said he liked it. What a great personable dude, attaching the original email to prove that he'd told the truth. Down in the comments, a different person
better than
shared
me
the story.
too.
We threw a few emails back and forth, and in my last one I said I'd say hello to him at his upcoming show. Anyway, the tick sold out before I could get one, and when I told Wally, he offered to put me on the door list. I can't say enough nice things about the guy. Gotye also gave a shout out to over 100 fans who'd covered the song. However, it'd be through these covers that Gotye first revealed his fame and success had its own list of downsides.
Alright, before we get into that, definitely not foregoing $10 million ever for like my music. Like, are you like, what do you mean? For ads? Like ad revenue from YouTube? $10 million worth of ad revenue on YouTube? Yeah. I mean, if I'm looking at the Maslow's pyramid of like needs and shit like that, yeah, $10 million would definitely cover me and any generations of family that I want to take care of, you know what I mean, and have type shit. Like, take care of your parents, take care of your house, take care of your family, brothers, sisters, everything like that. Everything's chill. And then have money for investments just sitting there, and then you could just live off, like, you could just live off the interest off the money in the account. And you're still gonna rack more money. You could still be a cool guy and give these like students and stuff free licenses to use your music. But like,
a bit burnt out, like seeing another remix, another cover of the song. It's like, you know, and a lot, you know, some are okay, some are quite average, and so I was a bit over it.
With covers such as the Star Wars that I used to know gaining over 30 million views, it's no surprise Gotye began to feel like he couldn't control the song.
Hearing a lot of bad remixes and edits on commercial radio around the world, like it's so far out of my hands that maybe, you know, my stage name is being badly represented by all these other people doing really crap interpretations of my song.
With less power over his music, Gotye was no longer as comfortable.
If anything, I have more sort of self-consciousness, or I can sort of see the concerns about like becoming maybe more famous, more being prompted to be more of a personality, you know, being a smaller fish in a bigger pond, if you will.
And when asked on MTV, are you comfortable with all the eyes on you? Gotye responded by stating, I don't know. I go back and forth, I guess. Maybe anxious at times or overwhelmed by it or not sure how to process it. Maybe I've sort of got used to how to handle it. This made it obvious that becoming famous wasn't the motive, so much that he'd moved to the other side of the world just to avoid being recognized. Gotye relocated from Melbourne to Brooklyn because there's a pleasant thing in New York where nobody really makes a fuss. I wouldn't know if people recognize me, or if they do, they're very cool about it and don't mention it. I felt the difference when I came back to Australia last Christmas. Walking into cafes or restaurants, someone would say something really nice and want to chat. I feel a lot more anonymous here in New York, which is nice, confirming he'd lost the personability he used to enjoy with his audience.
When things get to a certain scale, when things get sort of maybe too big, it's really hard to keep it personal. It kind of feels more disconnected to me than when, say, I was making tracks in my bedroom.
This seemingly only became worse after winning 3 different Grammys, where during an interview afterwards, he'd reveal another way he was suffering
Prince
from
gave
success.
him his Grammy too.
I
That's
sometimes felt
crazy.
a bit self-conscious about it being such a big song, being one that is about people who don't seem to be able to work out the differences, and the fact that people sort of celebrating that seemed somehow incongruous to me for a while.
Gotye feared his song might have been adding to global relationship dissatisfaction.
I feel a bit self-conscious about that because there is an aspect, you know, a lot of the song is quite angsty, and you know, there's a bitterness and a jadedness to it. I'm not sure I really want to spread, you know, that greater sense of angst or dissatisfaction with failed relationships.
Which was in addition to the thought that his song was annoying the world.
The song is really overplayed and probably saturated to the point of absurdity, where I feel like it's out of my hands, but I'm some kind of annoying presence, and an audio presence in people's lives that they would prefer not to.
That's just very self-conscious thinking though. Like, I guess, like, I mean, bro, your song is famous. Like, you can't obviously
have there.
He noticed that people were saying, this song is plastered everywhere. I can't go to a mall without hearing it. Whether I like it or hate it, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Mariah Carey's song is played every Christmas though.
And as a result, Gotye apologized for making everyone listen to his song over and over again because of how many times radio stations were playing it. He'd also have to deal with a phony news story claiming that Gotye had died, and with completely unrelated YouTube comments such as, RIP Gotye, now you're somebody that we all used to know, he'd be forced to clarify on Twitter by simply writing "I'm not dead." It seemed his only solution for avoiding the public spotlight was to book an extended American tour. However, his live performances came with a new problem, making his life even harder.
They really do leave after they've heard the hits.
Especially in America, I found.
What have they got? They've got a rush
got my money's worth.
Gotye noticed that the rest of his songs weren't quite so popular.
Some people love some songs and hate others, which is just the way it should be, probably.
And perhaps nothing reinforced this more brutally than his 2012 Coachella performance. An article explained that after playing his hit single, Gotye performed the rest of his songs to a noticeably smaller crowd, the reason for which was explained by two different people on Reddit. My friend said when he performed at Coachella the year he blew up over this song, it was the first one he performed and then the crowd just left. Lol, I was there for that and can confirm that I left after hearing that song. That's the curse of the one-hit wonder.
You gotta play some songs before that,
this being true.
I mean, people ask me, like whether I worry about being a one-hit wonder. I'm kind of like, I don't really mind if I don't ever really have a big hit like that, because I'm a bit like, well, I've had that experience. That's what it was like.
However, it was clear that his future music's performance was still heavy on his mind.
That was such a big hit. What's next for you?
Not as big a hit.
The question came up in so many different interviews.
Does the pressure of somebody that I used to know haunt you when you're writing new songs?
Gotye made it seem as though he was about to make new music.
I'm only going to start writing new stuff this year.
However, when asked about whether he can follow up the track with another smash hit, Gotye responded, "I don't know. Time will tell. I don't know whether I can or whether I want to." He clearly didn't work too well with deadlines.
You're not afraid of waiting. You're patient. You really want to get it right.
But after 2 full years passed with no new music, people began to post "I wonder what happened to Gotye," while the original music video filled with comments such as, "Gotye, alright guys, see you tomorrow. Last online 8 years ago. My man's dropped the fattest banger in history and dipped. Now he's somebody everyone used to know." However, by this point he'd actually appeared on television, where he was asked the following question.
When's the next album coming out?
I don't know, I'm working on things.
And while he didn't sound too confident, there was a barely known reason for this. Just 2 months beforehand, Gotye released a newsletter containing one important sentence: "There will be no new Gotye music." The newsletter continued, "Maybe there will be. I'm not entirely sure right now," with the main question being whether anyone would hear his future music. Well, people certainly would, only it wouldn't be posted under Gotye's name. Throughout his entire career, he'd been making music with a band called The Basics, which became his main project after ditching his solo career. The Basics bass player Chris Schroeder had clearly grown tired of people asking about Gotye, as he'd state, "When I see people saying where's Wally online, or making the now he's just somebody that we used to know, I just think, don't you idiots know how to use Google? In the time it's taken you to write that stupid tweet, you could have just Googled it and maybe discovered some great music he's been releasing recently on the other end. It's so lazy, you're not the first person to do that joke. Just shut up." Despite announcing in 2021 that the band had stopped touring, the Basics haven't stopped making music, and there's even been some recent hope for Gotye as a solo artist. In 2020, he was named ARI's Australian Artist of the Decade, where he'd announced that the follow-up album will be released in the next decade probably, and while his past doesn't exactly indicate that it's coming anytime soon, Gotye's had an outstanding career regardless of his musical future.
So how has this success changed things for you?
When new opportunities come along, they present all sorts of challenges, but they present a chance to learn new things and learn new things about yourself through that process.
See, like, I could speak on more things about releasing music because we have a label and we've released some bangers and shit like that. Actually, something that's gotten an award as well. So, you know what I mean? There's that. But like, obviously, like, there's, when it comes to money and things, depends on how many people are in the pot. And it comes to like the virality of a song and things like that, how big a song can get. Obviously, it will change your life, point blank and period. But it just seems like to me that this guy was very self-conscious at one point, especially with having a hit record. 2, he doesn't really want to be famous. He wants to be a musician. That's a big thing with a lot of musicians, where they think getting famous with their music and stuff like that is something that they want, when in actuality, they just want to be musicians. They would love to just be paid to make music for the rest of their life and then not have to worry about anything. You know what I mean? Just music. Which is obviously like, that's the goal of everybody who wants to do the thing that they want to do for the rest of their life, is like the thing they're doing and make X amount of money doing it. You know what I mean? To just survive at that point. But then also it's just like there was some things that he could have done to make that happen faster, but obviously he like didn't want to do that, like ad revenue, whatever, whatever. And then the rest of it was just like kind of mental for this guy, where it's just like everything kind of caved in on him, and then he just ended up making music with a band and shit like that, which is not a bad thing. It's just I don't know, kind of odd, but at the same point, I'm not in that man's shoes, so I'm like, oh, can I really say? Like, comment, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. You already know this.